Welcome to the presentation of our project. We are Rainbow Dash and we have made a location-based smart device auto configuration system. So for starters, you will need a Raspberry Pi. You will also need an instance of Home Assistant running on the Raspberry Pi. And finally, you will need some smart devices that have microcontrollers inside them that uses our software, which makes them able to auto-configure themselves. So firstly, we will introduce our intended use case and how we imagine that our product should be used. We imagine that the user will buy our product, which consists of a smart device with a ESP microcontroller that runs our software, and the package also contains a bridge, which is something that you put into your Raspberry Pi such that it can communicate with future smart devices that you buy. After unpacking our product, the user will plug in the bridge with the USB onto the Raspberry Pi, and then it will be responsible for communicating with other devices. Then the user will have to download the Find 3 app on their smartphone, and we use this app to actually learn the positions of each room in the home. Um, it will scan when we hit scan, and it'll scan for various signals, Wi-Fi signals and Bluetooth signals, um, which it then sends to the Find server, and then the Find server will use some machine learning to make a probabilistic guess of where you are given the data. And then when the user plugs in the smart device into power for the first time, the smart device will automatically figure out which room it is in the home, and then it'll pop up on the dashboard, ready to use and ready to be controlled without the user having to manually set up the device as the user would normally have to do. And then let's say, for example, that the smart device is a light bulb that is in the kitchen. It will automatically know that it's in the kitchen and ready to be controlled, and it will light up and turn off as wished. So that was our ambition for the project, and now we'll show you what our end product looks like. So first, the user has to go to the add-on store and the Home Assistant page and download two plugins that we have made available. The first one called Automation, which has the responsibility to send Wi-Fi information to the bridge such that the bridge can send Wi-Fi information to the other smart devices. The second plugin is called Find3 Server, which is basically a server that stores all the location data that the smart devices need in order to determine their position. After doing some testing with the Find3 server, we have found that unfortunately it is not very useful for us to use the phone to learn the positions, since the ESPs are not good at tracking using the data that the phone learns. Therefore, we have decided that we will use the ESPs to learn the positions of the rooms and also use ESPs to track. And this means that the user will have to have pre-learned positions before they use our system. That unfortunately means that the user cannot just walk around with their phone to learn the positions of the room, and we did not have enough time to find some user-friendly way using the ESPs to learn their rooms, and therefore we just assume that they have pre-learned positions in order for our project to work. On the screen you can see an ESP learning the position in the kitchen. Then after the user have been to every room and done a scan for about 5 minutes, then the user can access the front end of the Find3 data by going to the web UI of our plugin. The next step is to set up the bridge such that the bridge is equipped with the Wi-Fi information. This is such that if the user buys a new smart device, the smart device will get the network information from the bridge. And the bridge gets the network information from this portal that we've made, Wi-Fi setup. Then you can enter your family name inside the Find3 front end, and it'll take you to the dashboard of the Find3. And here you can see the data of the positions that you've learned. For example, here we have some data in the kitchen. It says overall data and the accuracy, and we can see which device has most recently been recorded. Then we continue learning the positions, and we do this for the living room and the bedroom as well as the kitchen. After approximately 5 to 10 minutes of learning each room, we can see that we have gathered a lot of data in all of these rooms. Then we proceed by going into the automatization plugin, where we'll actually give it the Wi-Fi information such that they can set up the bridge. Once we submit our Wi-Fi information, the bridge will start running, and the bridge will then be ready to receive the devices that enter the network. After the user has submitted the Wi-Fi information and the bridge is running, there is also a button called Update Location, which allows the user to update the smart devices location in case the Find3 server guessed the position wrong. This part here is a part of the process where the ESPs are actually getting programmed. The ESPs that are actually inside the smart devices will have this firmware that we are compiling into the ESPs. This is not something that the user will actually have to do themselves, but we're just showcasing this as it is part of the production setup. And here we also specify what type of device it is, so if it's a light or any type of smart device, we do it here. And here we have a ESP that is programmed as a light, and we have attached an LED to it so that we can actually see that the switches are working when it is set up in the Home Assistant dashboard. And we've configured 3 lights in total, one for each room, one in the kitchen, one in the living room, and one in the bedroom. And we've done this with using the process that we've just described, and we can see that they pop up on the dashboard automatically. So now we're in the kitchen and we want to show that it works. So we can see we have the DSPs in the kitchen, and we can turn on the LED from there. And if we turn it off again, it also switches off. We will showcase this also in the living room. And in the bedroom. So now we can see, after using the auto configuration, the lights have separated into kitchen, living room, and bedroom. But we also wanted to support the feature if the user changed their mind, or if the position was not that great, then they'll have the option to actually update the positions. So they can press the update position button, and after generating the UI configuration file, we can see that it fetched the right data from the Find server and putting all the lights into the bedroom, which they are currently placed. And this groups.yaml file is basically the file that controls the UI in the Home Assistant. So we see the dashboards change accordingly, such that the lights are all under bedroom. And for good measure, we'll just showcase that it still works.